Hello, Chapter 2, Integrity, Ethics, and Social Entrepreneurship. Integrity by the book is defined as the general sense of honesty, reliability that is expressed in a strong commitment to doing the right thing, regardless of the circumstances. Have you ever thought about a time when you were faced with a situation that integrity really could be questioned? And you had two options: to do what was absolutely right and to do something that made things more comfortable or not quite exactly the right thing to do, but seemed like something that needed to be done for the situation. We all find ourselves in this type of situation. Small business management and those that own the small business often find that they're in this situation many times, especially dealing with customers. You may find some things with customers that don't always feel like that is the thing you want to do, but maybe should be done for the customer. You have a question of right and wrong. Most frequently observed forms of workplace misconduct are related to customers and competitors, the way the company treats its employees, obligation of the employers to their employees, and those who either can affect or who are affected by the performance of the company. There are four types of responsibilities for all businesses: economic, be profitable; legal, obey all laws and adhere to all the regulations; ethical, avoid questionable practices; and discretionary, being a good corporate citizen and give back. When we look at obeying all the laws and adhering to all the regulations, sometimes we find that even government isn't quite clear on what all regulations and laws should be. For example, right now we're looking at the vaccination and whether all people have to take those vaccinations within our businesses. This question is currently right before the Supreme Court justices, and they're trying to decide if it is actually a regulation that can be applied to all businesses and all individuals. The three big stakeholders, and stakeholders are ones that you really want to pay attention to as you write your business plan, are owners, customers, and employees. We really want to say within our business that we follow the golden rule. And sometimes people will say that the customer is always right. Well, even though the customer isn't exactly right, sometimes we need to make that customer feel like they're correct to promote good relationships within the business. We want to promote the owner's interests, we want to care about the customer, and we want to value the employees. Sometimes those three things are often can be in conflict with one another. When we promote the business owner's interest, we have an obligation to make choices that are sound for our financial investment. Not always do we make good, sound investment decisions for employees, but maybe that's something that we have to make as a business owner, such as letting an employee go because we just can't make payroll in hard times. We do want to always care about the customers. They are the most important stakeholder because without them, we have no business. So we want to make sure that we really know those customers value what they provide to our business. When we value employees, again, this is another big stakeholder that we really need to pay attention to, because without those employees, some businesses really cannot operate. Whoops, sorry. Let me get back into that document. Didn't mean to jump out. I didn't advance it last time, and this was part of the issue with advancing it. So let's try some different ways here. We have challenges and benefits of acting with integrity. Small businesses face unique challenges to integrity, such as critical stages in getting started, establishing a name, launching online operations, and expanding internationally if that's what we choose to do. There's a lot of things that happen at each of those levels. Small firms face greater pressures to act unethically to actually get a step up ahead of some of the competitors at times. Entrepreneurs should always exercise great integrity, but some are really vulnerable to ethics and issues that directly affect profits. My sister worked for a number of years with a Japanese company that came over here to produce sake. They are no longer in business, but they were right up in Boulder, next to the Coors facility. They really felt like they were going to be the next big Coors, and that sake was going to be the thing that they were bringing to America, that because it's so ingrained in their culture, they really felt like that was something that the English people, as they called us here, needed. They didn't understand our rules and regulations, because in their country, when you produce a new line of sake, a new taste, a new variant, you actually bribe officials to accept that new line. They'd often set up tastings and introductions to new products without going through all the channels. And it was my sister's job to keep them in line with all of the United States rules and regulations. It was a very difficult task because they really did not understand our environment, because they had moved their entire company here. Some close relatives moved with them and were expected to work within that sake plant. They really did not understand the government regulations here. And so it became a big issue for them to actually produce their new lines. And they really didn't understand what their niche was. They felt like they had a whole big market that they were going to be able to take advantage of here in the United States. We'll talk more about that company later in the class, along with some other ones. When we look at challenges and benefits, small companies and the legitimacy to lie, sometimes there's great pressure, again, to actually lie or tell that white lie to get what we want within a small business. And we really have to keep ourselves above that and follow all the rules and regulations to create a legitimate business without a lot of mistrust attached to that. Using the internet is also another big place where small businesses find that integrity is difficult to follow. We have a lot of social media that can actually bleed into that cause some difficulties. Using intellectual property is also something we really need to pay a lot of attention to. Patents, copyrights, trademark, design right, trade secrets are all very difficult to manage as a small business owner. And we'll talk about this in one of the other chapters. Excuse me, I keep clicking on the wrong thing there. There's also integrity in doing business abroad. We need to make sure we're matching with whatever country we're doing business with their ethical portions of their business. We have a Foreign Corrupt Practice Act that makes it illegal for US businesses to use bribery elsewhere in the world. Even if we were to go over to Japan, we would be held to the Foreign Corrupt Policies Act, where maybe some Japanese businesses within the Japan markets would not be held to that, since that has been something that those businesses do. We see these coming more into line of being the same internationally now, more than we used to. The business that she was operating with was in the early 1990s. It hasn't been that long ago, but still they still were able to kind of manipulate within certain markets, not necessarily within the United States. I believe that company moved to Taiwan. I'm not quite sure exactly where they moved, but someplace in an Oriental market where they actually are at now. The integrity edge, the entrepreneur who makes honorable decisions, even when it comes to the smallest of details, can really take satisfaction in knowing that they did what was right and things should turn out as planned. And I'll let you read through some of the other things. When you hit these chapters, we see that there is improved financial performance, enhancing the brand image and reputation, increasing sales and customer loyalty, improved quality of production and quality of production, better recruitment and reduced employee turnover, fewer regulations, inspectors, problems within the local legal environment, less paperwork. I kind of question that less paperwork, but there still is to be less paperwork when we don't have to answer legal questions, and improved access to capital because the banker's more assured with what you're doing. The goal of the small business owner with integrity should be to operate, again, honorably in all areas of practice. The book's going to go on to lead you through some foundations of integrity, leading with integrity, and an ethical organizational culture. This is something that you want to address within your business plan of how you plan to meet that. How do you keep employees responsible to those ethical behaviors? And a lot of times that is modeling that for yourself and within your job descriptions. The Better Business Bureau is one that helps us keep an ethical conduct by promoting things in the following ways: providing consumers with free information, creating an incentive for businesses to adhere to the proper business practices, and resolving questions or dispute concerning a purchase. Better Business Bureau often has difficulty with consumers and consumers reaching out to them, as when you post a complaint to the Better Business Bureau, they can automatically refer back to, before posting or dealing with your complaint, to the business in question. I had one that we submitted to a business here in Fort Collins, and their response back was, we've changed ownership, and so the problem that this customer is dealing with is actually something under the past management, when in fact that wasn't true. They did not have to prove anything. So the Better Business Bureau kind of gets watered down in what they actually should offer. They're not a true legal organization that can lead you into a lot of dispute resolutions. They're more of just a rating system, and it's very easy for the business to hop past those complaints and never let complaints be posted within their boards. You have to be pretty persistent to actually get through that. And a lot of customers will actually give that up. So I'm a little disappointed with the Better Business Bureau and how they work with businesses, but that is something there for your customers to actually help with mediation and arbitration. If you want to pursue that in a legal fashion, you have to step up and be willing to actually hire a lawyer to get through all that most of the times. The ethical decision-making process each business should address is to define the problems, identify alternative solutions, evaluate the identified alternatives, and go through the decision-making process of, is it truth? Is it fair? Will it build goodwill? And will it be beneficial? And the golden rule, of course, we always want to apply is treat others as you wanted to be treated. Then we move on to making the decision, implementing the decision, and evaluating the decision when it comes to how we will deal with those ethical problems. The social entrepreneur is a growing trend because of social media and how quickly people can actually tell others about problems, and how you can use that to turn it into opportunities is something you want to be very aware of. You know, it's often said that a customer who has had a negative experience will actually tell 10 people about that negative experience. If they've had a good experience, they may tell 1 or 2 people. So we want to keep those negative experiences out of our business as much as we can. We also need to look at the small business in the natural environment, and this is the environmental issues that our business may have to face, and be aware of that. There's a growing trend more and more all the time in environmentalism, and so we really want to watch what our business is in relationship to that and watch the costs involved with that. Green opportunities for business often will add a lot of cost, but can open up our opportunities for others and for yourself. There are a lot of green opportunities grants that are available. And so by always promoting that green part of your business, the how do you meet environmental issues, will also be a good thing down the road if you ever want to apply for grants, look for grants, or be involved with something within your community to actually help promote your business based on that. Make sure you're getting through chapter 2 reading. Your quiz is due by Sunday, the 16th. So don't miss this opportunity to get through everything. Chapter 1 and 2 are the only units that we have that are due immediately. The rest of these will slow down again as we get into the meat of creating our business plan. This is just 2 chapters of introduction. So good luck with everything. And again, as always, let me know if you have any questions.